an information being shared to the same organization but different branches. Is it possible we can use a memo, a memorandum?
No, please.
It's possible. So it
Okay.
is either ways, okay? So
Okay.
just as you said, is more like a channel of communication that is used within the organization. So either in the same organization from head to probably the staff of the organization is internalized. But we cannot write a memo from ABC Company Limited to XYZ Company Limited. It can
Okay.
be at a different branch, maybe ABC headquarters to ABC central region or district, or I mean, you can talk of the branches because it's from the same organization and it is internal, it's something that is internalized. So we are like GCB, we have other branches. So we can have a memo sent across all the branches for GCB. It doesn't mean that if it is only in Cape Coast that we can use memo, we cannot use it outside. So the external here, what am I saying? The external here is not referring to the fact that it is outside the premises of the organization. Take note. The external here is not referring to what? Just the premises or the outside of the organization. However, outside not just the physical structure, but a different organization that makes it not external. In other words, memorandum being internal is referring not only within the premises or the physical structure, but we are looking at the fact that it is the same organization. They have their own ways of conveying information. Do you understand? So you are
Yes.
saying that there's a written communication sent to someone within the organization. It may be sent within departments, among departments, or among company branches at different geographical locations. And that is what I want to convey, the message I want to convey, that it can be sent across what other branches, I mean, company branches, not companies, a particular company which has other branches at different geographical locations. And when we look at the memo itself, that type of written communication, it has three elements, whereby we look at what? The statement of purpose. Why are we conveying that information? The message itself and a statement of future action, because the fact that we are not sending another form of what? Type of communication like a letter, but we want to use a memo, is to convey information and not just conveying. Of course, there should be some form of action, a future action. Why are we sending this information? For some act to be done. Do you get it? So it is much more of an action form of communication where we are expecting that something is supposed to be done. So we want to convey that information internally in the organization. And as I said, internally, not referring to just the physical structure in the organization, whereas we may not consider other branches, but the fact that it is coming from the same organization to other branches, or that very organization, that particular branch may also have internal memos. So with what you said, can we give some functions of memos, as in what it seeks to do? Whenever we talk about functions, you are looking at much more of the characteristics, what it seeks to do. So if you are being asked, state three functions of a memo. Ideally, I have said it in what? Explaining what a memo does and what it does. So let's quickly mention them.
What it does is that it seeks to give information to staff members.
Okay. All right. And
Mommy, please, can we say that it is used to send message to the other branches of the same company?
Okay. So it is still hanging around what information. So providing information in the provision of information, we can also what make a request. We can provide response to a request that was made. So here I would draw your attention to the fact that we will look at the types where we may look at the channel, the location it is coming from. Is it coming from superiors? Is it coming from subordinates? Is it coming from your colleagues or a particular level, departmental level? We can send like so for example, providing information, who provide the information? Maybe it can be from superior providing information to subordinates.
Yeah.
Making a request, yes. So here we would say this particular type, I'm going to relate these functions to the types. Here we will say if it is coming from the top or the superiors to the subordinates, from top to down. So how will we classify that? From top to down, then it is what? Downward memo. That is the types. You look at the downward, the upward, and the horizontal, such that the fact has to deal with where is the information coming from, where is the memo coming from. So when you ask yourself, okay, the memo is coming from head or managers, to which people? To the staff. That means it's coming from what? The top level to the lower level. Then we can say it is what? Downward memo. Assuming the request had been sent to all staff for them to act on something, and the staff have to report what they are supposed to do. So they also write back to them. Then we can say it is what? An upward memo. Do you get it? So the same issue, for example, maybe the subordinates may have a leader, HOD, want to send a request to headmaster. So it's a request. So one function is that I want to just relate the functions to the types. For example, making requests. Making requests would come from probably, definitely, because it's a request, it may come from what? Subordinate to what? Superiors. So we can say that one is what? Upward memo. And then providing response can be both sides, possibly superiors had subordinates had requested something from superiors, and superiors are replying to them. They are providing a response. It can be upward. It can be the opposite. It could also be that superiors actually ask subordinate for some information and they are providing responses. So it can be that side. And presenting informal reports usually may happen within what? The same level or in the organization, where we may say it is the horizontal memo. So for example, all departmental heads, they are the same level, right? All departmental heads would want to what? Give an informal report of probably a project that they are doing. So a particular project is ongoing. Marketing department, you are working on a particular thing. Purchasing, you are working on a particular maybe production. All of these departmental heads would what? Bring what? An informal report to what they have done so far, and they would communicate among themselves. So that is another function, and that type of function we may also see it happening at which side of the memo? Which type of the memo? The horizontal memo. I believe it is clear. Is it clear to this side so that we move on?
Yes, please.
Good. So ideally, memorandum, unlike every business document, has its own style of writing, okay? So just like letters, we explain the format for letters because right from basic school, we are familiar with it. It is easier to identify the parts. For example, you know that every letter you should start with what? The sender's address, and then the recipient address, and then the subject heading. What is the letter about? And then right after the I think I missed DS said that one is salutation, eh? And then You see, there is some form of salutation, then there is subject heading, and then you start the whole body of the letter by what? Breaking it down, introduction, body, conclusion, complementary close, and then off you go. If you want to make copies to people, you copy them. If there's an enclosure or something, you enclose it. Letters, good. But memorandum, and ideally you realize that they may have some features of it. The idea is there, but the format is the issue. Memorandum, because it's an internalized form of document, a way of communicating internally, we would present our address or what of all those things in a different style, in that there are certain things that we don't bring it here. And so we would say that for a memo, we have divided or partitioned it into two parts. The identification part, which is actually taking a form of the address, that is the idea behind it. And then the message part, which is like the body of the letter. You get it? So I'll break it down. The identification part is actually looking at where is the memo coming from, who is the message being given, what is the message about, the dates, and if there is reference or like just like address, you may have a reference line and all those things, and then the memo's title, or we call it the subject's line, which is actually the memo's title. That is the identification part. So usually after we have done this identification part, we rule a line to partition the two. I've told you the part of a memo. The first part is what? Identification part, looking at the address in mind, not the address per se, but it specifically requires that you tell us where is the message coming from, who is it going to send to, subject, date, if there is reference, and the subject heading. That's all. Why are we not seeing an address in a memo? Because it is what? An internal document. It is not a letter where you would write a letter from one organization to another organization. It is just a message being conveyed in the same organization. So we don't have an address. Like, you not start by saying, okay, ABC Company Limited, PO Box. No. It's an internal document. Please take notes. I'll take my time to explain this. I still had students giving us definition of a memo by starting by saying that it is a type of letter. It was so funny. A lot of students starting, I usually don't set questions on define memo, explain a memo. But I don't know, last year, I think my boss actually brought that define a memo, and I was like, this is so easy to do. And I had students defining memos by saying that it is a type of letter sent within an organization. A type of letter. Is that what I said? Memorandum is what? A written communication. Is a message sent. If you start by saying it's a written form of communication sent within an organization, letter is also a written form of communication. But that is a letter. Is a type of what? A written form of communication. It's a letter. And a memo is a written form of communication. That is why it is a memo. Memos are not letters. Please take notes. I just remembered this and I said, let me draw your attention to it so that you don't repeat it. And all those who thought, this exam is so simple. Simple question. Define a memo. What is a memo? Explain a memo. And I said, this is so simple, 2 marks, but you've lost the 2 marks. The fact that you have written that it is within the organization is not my problem. But how did you start explaining? It's a type of letter. No, it's not a type of letter. Do you get it? It is what? A form of written communication. A letter is separated from a memo. And you should distinguish when you were also asked, I don't know if this year or some years back, you were asked to distinguish between a letter and a memo. And people were fumbling. They were still drawing the attention that the letter is this, and a memo is a type of letter. And I'm saying, what is wrong? Is it that they didn't get the concept? So please, this time around, I want to take my time and explain these issues. Are you on course? Good.
Yes,
I hope
madam.
because we have, I know some of you might be thinking that, oh, memo is a type of letter. No. It is not a type of letter. They are all
Mitra,
ways.
of course.
Yes. I had majority of them. I was like, I saw the questions. I usually don't see the questions before it is printed out because I'm working under someone. So later I saw it and I said, hey, madam, there were questions I had for cry. My man said the questions. Define memo. Then I went to mark. I was asked to go and mark, and I saw that the questions I thought they were simple, and see how they are responding to it. How can you say a memo is a type of a letter? No. So take notes. So as I'm saying, the two parts are what? Identification parts and the message itself. Now look at the format of a memo. So the message parts, you just go directly, please. This is not the time that you are going to exchange pleasantries and all that, unless the memo is more like, for example, this Christmas festive season, maybe they want to just wish a happy new year to all staff. We wish all staff a happy new year, and they are to go on break on the 22nd or 23rd and resume on the 5th January. So because it's a festive, so they want to start with pleasantries, and that is fine. But unlike letters, it is a formal thing. You get it? We may also have informal memos, as I said, like the horizontal that may be sent at the same level to convey informal information, and it is done, but it is rare. So I'm drawing your attention that the message part, you just have to go directly to the main point of the message. Go directly. Don't beat about the bush. What is the message about? The message is to inform newly recruited staff on a new policy in the organization. So go straight to what is the new policy. Go straight. So assuming this memo is coming from human resource management towards newly recruited staff. What type of memo is this? Oh, you can unmute yourself and respond. Can you all hear me?
Please, madam, come again.
The message is from human resource management to newly recruited staff in the organization to inform them of a new policy in the organization.
So can we say it's from top to down?
Yes, so that is what.
Downward.
Good.
Downward.
So, yes. So the identification parts, you start with to, from. So to who? To the newly recruited staff. From HR. Then the subject line is what? Maybe you want to convey the new policy. So however you craft let me look for a way of crafting the subject heading. So the new policy, or you have to craft it's just like the subject heading in a way that is focused on what? conveying a message about the new policy. And then maybe there's a reference line, like as you see in letters, reference. Here, because if you are writing a memo, please, whether you are being asked to provide reference or not, provide reference and use your index number, or just fabricate any numbers there as reference line. We want to see that you understand the thing. Do you get it? Because when we mark memo, each of them carries a point. It can be a mark or half. So assuming 1 mark each, the 2 from, dates, reference, subject line, all of it. So the identification part alone is taking 5 marks. And then you wrote everything and you didn't bring the reference because the question didn't ask for reference. You realize that you are losing a mark. So just put your reference there, use your index numbers as your reference, or just put reference and put some numbers mixed with alphabet, something to show that there is a reference line. Do you get it? And then the message part, I said you should go directly to the main point of the message. This helps the reader to grasp the main point as early as possible. And the body should usually end with the statement of what? Future action or request for further instructions. So for example, something will be communicated later. It can be concluded by saying that maybe the reform will be communicated later, or the meeting, the agenda will be communicated later, but you are all asked to what? Convey at a meeting on this dates, that. Usually we would come to it. We will study meetings whereby we study notice, meetings, agenda, and all those things. And I last time I was telling my students, gone were the days that some teachers will be there and then they'll just call you unaware, staff meeting. Then you have to leave it is a very bad habit. Ideally, minutes should be communicated earlier, some days earlier, and the notice should come with an agenda. Don't just say we are going for a meeting. For what? Tell us the agenda. Tell us the purpose. That is the purpose of the meeting. Anyway, we are not going to that. I think that will be done document 2. You come back for document processing 2, where you prepare minutes writing. And then before we prepare the minutes writing, you look at the notice, preparing notice, meeting itself, the agenda, and then the minutes writing. That is for document 2. So assuming this memorandum is requesting for a meeting to be done on a particular date and time, venue. That is the message part. So convey it. And then if there's a future action to be taken, maybe members are supposed to prepare. There is something that they have to read before coming for the meeting. There's something that is there's a future course of action to be done. Or if there is an instructions to be circulated later, you can tell them. So, body, you go straight to the point and then you convey the information you have to convey. All right, so you're moving on. Let's look at the format of a memo. Format of a memo. I've said it, right, from the sender. You see, for letters, because you are looking at the sender, you have to put the sender's address. But remember that memo is a form of communication, a written form of communication, not just a form, but a written form of communication that is sent within the organization. So sent from one person to another person in an organization, or to the same organization but different geographical location, to the branches in different geographical locations. So it's the same organization but to different geographical locations, because they have different branches there. So we know that the message is something in the organization, so there's no need for an address. So don't go and provide address. People were still forcing to put the company's address on a memo, which I was baffled. Okay, the sender. So that is where you start with 2. Sorry, you actually start with 2, then from, then the dates, and then the subjects. And the memo can have a reference, but not complementary clause. That is something that I'll also highlight on. Unlike letters, where you would, yours faithfully, yours, no. There is no attention line 2 in a memo. Take notes. Why? Because the memo is specifically conveyed to some people. So, for example, as I said, assuming it is downward memo, it is from where? The head. So, from, let's say, the management, the CEO, the board of directors, to all staff. So there is no attention line for a special person to read them. The memo itself is to all staff. So all the staff should get a copy of the memo and act upon it. Whatever action they are supposed to take, they have to take that action. So there is no attention line. There is no complimentary clause, yours faithfully, yours sincerely. There is no salutation, dear sir, dear madam. No. Just go straight to the point. This, however, you may ask, okay, so how do we end the memo? You end the memo by writing the initials. Finish. So after you have conveyed the message, for example, your last paragraph of the message, concluding aspect is saying that all staff are to heed to the instructions as stipulated in the new policy. That is maybe your conclusion in your statement of maybe you are conveying a message about what a new policy that they are supposed to heed. They are to have a new dress code. They are to close at 5 p.m. and not 4 p.m. as previously you thought you were going to close 4 p.m. Now 5 p.m. However, there's not going to be any additional bonus. Anyway, that's by the way. So you conclude. After your conclusion, the last thing, don't put yours faithfully there. You just end with what? Your initials. Your initials. And that is the format. Once again, this is let's say, for academic purposes. But I know that because of the new era, now these Gen Z people, there are new things on board. So some companies also have their way of presenting the memorandum. They would end by writing their full name, not the initials, and the position of the person sending the memo. So for example, the person, instead of writing just the initials and that is all, will write the full name. Atasa, Kofi Atasa. Then Mr. Kofi Atasa. Then the person writes beneath it, he is the what? Board of, maybe board member. You put beneath it board member. Or HR will put his name there, Mr. Kwachi. Then you put beneath it human resource manager. That is what some organizations have decided to go by. So when you find yourself in that organization, do what the organization requires you to do. But for the academic purpose and for what you are teaching, this is the style of memo. You usually end with your initials and that is all. Do you understand? So what I'm saying is whatever is being taught here, it doesn't mean you have to go strictly by it. Even though you find yourself at certain places that they go contrary to what they do. For example, I told you per the university standards, all our formal documents, letters, memos, assignments, project work, whatsoever, we use the Times New Romans and the font size 12. If it comes to referencing style, we use the APA style. That is what UTC does. It doesn't mean when you find yourself in an organization that they are comfortable with the Arial, Calibri, or the other forms of fonts, you will strictly go by Times New Roman because that is what you have been taught. Go by what that organization accepts. You have to, in fact, ask them what practices are done here. What is the company's culture, and go by it because it differs from organization to organization and adapt to their style of writing. If you are likely to have templates of how they go about their things, it is good sign that you can easily adapt. If you don't have a template, you have to ask them. If they ask you to, okay, use your own discretion, then you can as well use what you have been taught, because what we teach is not wrong. It is the standard, even though others may want to do other things in their own way. So the whole idea is, for academic purposes and for examination's sake, end with what? Your initials. When you get to the organizations and their style of writing is, they would end with the person's name and the position of the person. That is fine. Okay, so that is it. So let's look at the block format. We can use either the block format or the indented style of writing. Just like letters, which is another type of what business documents. Whenever we use the word block, we are saying that everything should be what? Aligned to where? Let me hear from you. Whenever you hear the word block, it means while typing, all text should be aligned to where?
The left.
Good.
The
So
left
the
side.
good. So the same way in memo, when you are using the block format, it is aligned to the left, including the heading. And we start memorandum by not starting with two form, as I said. You need to write the whole thing. Unlike letters, nobody writes on top enquiry letter before the person write the letter. You just start with what? Your sender's address, or if you have a letterhead, you use a letterhead. But memorandum, you need to indicate that it is a memorandum. So we write memorandum, and that is the first thing to do. In typing your letters, you usually, I prefer all headings should be capitalized. I prefer. It doesn't mean when you go to an organization and it has been initial capitals, it is wrong. Initial capitals is fine, but if it is a subheading, I will go by initial capitals. If it is a full heading, like that is the first thing to do. I prefer block letters or capital letters. So memorandum as seen here, and it should be bolded. But you ask me, madam, we are not typing in examination. We would write. So how do we bolden it? Are we supposed to deepen it? No. Because you are writing, you may write them in capitals and probably underline them. But when you are typing, anytime you have a heading, please don't underline. That era is past. If you are typing and there is a heading, just bolden it. And if possible, write the text in capital letters or block letters and bolden it. That is all. If you are writing to show that it is your heading, you may want to underline. That is fine. But if you write in capital letters on top, you all see that it is what? The heading. So beneath it, you leave a line. So when I'm asking you to do something, I'm taking it from both angles. From the typing, which will be your assignment, and from the writing, which will be what? Your examination. So when you type, of course, after memorandum, you press the enter key to leave a space. That is the line. When you are writing, you leave a full line. Don't write beneath it. To form dates. No. Leave spaces. Do you get it? So memorandum, you leave a space. To the recipient's name and job title, from your name and job title, reference. So your reference line, you already know that. Or if you want to refer to a particular incident or document, that is there, you understand the reference line already. Dates, the memo is written, the dates that the memo is written or disbursed. And then copies, yes. If you also wish to send copies to other people aside those two, you see from the two, you are referring to the particular people who are supposed to receive the memos, but you also want to make copies to other group of people, then the copies will be there. So the people who need to read the contents of the memos, that will be what? The copies. And then the subjects. That is actually like the heading or the memo topic. So it is just to, from, reference, dates, copies, and then the subject. And it should be aligned this way. Please don't be mixing them up. Don't start with from before you go to and be mixing them up. But ensure that it goes this way. Sometimes people may bring reference date before reference, which is not too good. But please try and go according to what I've taught you. What do you see in the identification part? It is separated with a colon. Have you noticed it? So to colon, then you put the person's name there. From colon, put the person's name there. Reference date, they are all separated with what? A colon. And that is it. That is the block format. This is the identification part. Let's look at the message part of the same memo. So look at this example with the block format. Someone should read it so that I can see that you are engaged. Who is going to read it? Kofi? Kofi Asante.
Madam,
Are you sleeping?
no, please. I'm not.
Read it.
Okay.
Read the example.
Memorandum to branch managers from Gerard Chum, General Manager. Reference EDMGT 13.
Oh, just mention them.
Alright. Date. Copy district managers. Subject. Meeting for branch managers. The Human Resource Division has announced improvements in the employee benefits plan. A meeting to explain our new benefits package will be held on Monday, December 12 at 10 a.m. in the conference room B adjoining my office. Please read the enclosed booklet about the package before the meeting and let me know if you have any questions about it.
So, unfortunately, let me adjust it small so that you see that the initials is in the blue ink, JGM. That is my initials. I should have changed it to GT, right? Yes. Do you get it?
Yes, please.
You understand? Okay, it seems like I have to adjust it so that you don't say, Madam, the example you showed us didn't have your initials, but it is there. Can you all see it?
Yes,
Because
madam.
of the design of the template, it's in the
Madam,
blue
you can
ink.
see even
Yes.
to like I can see 10 or something over there to the other side.
That is page 10. That is the
So
slide
you can
number.
see.
Okay, it is black ink. That is why. Okay, so you realize that that is all. Do you see any attention line there? Do you see complimentary close? Do you see salutation, dear sir or madam?
No, madam.
Good, please. You, I will still talk, and then this time around, when they make a mistake, I'll just take a snapshot and come and put it on the page so that you'd bear witness with me. I
They
still had
beg, they beg.
students. I was asking, were you in class when I was teaching memorandum? I said, Madam, you were there. Madam, me, I've never missed your class. They are lying. They were online, no, but they were cooking. And some were attending to other domestic chores. So they were not listening. They were present online, but their mind were on their fufu and their granite soup that they are waiting for their wives to serve them. As Mr. Asante was waiting. So when I called him, he was caught by surprise. Okay, let's move on. So please take note of the format of a memo. It is simple to write a memo to get 10/10, but people find memo is too simple to write. Let me still fit in things to make it richer. So let me bring complimentary clothes, yours faithfully. Let me bring DSA. Let me bring some changing pleasantries and all that. And let me bring my address. Please take notes. All of these things are not relevant. We don't need them there. In fact, when you bring the irrelevant things, you have to take marks. And if there are essential things like reference, you don't bring, you still take marks. And non-essential things, and you bring them, you still take marks. So what do you have to do? Look at what is important and put it there. Can you move on now? Good.
Please, I have a question.
Okay.
Please, you said when we are writing, we should leave one line. So I want to ask after the subject.
Okay. So in typing, do you know how to draw this line?
No, please.
So how do I show you? Right from the 0, there is this minus sign. There is this minus sign on your Word document, negative sign, and then the positive sign, right? Negative subtraction and then the addition. That particular negative sign, I remember some machines, it differs from machines to machines. So some machines, when you press on the negative sign from the beginning, from the left side, that is the right from the left side to the end of the left side, and you press enter key, it gives you that straight line. That is one style of writing the straight line. Another style is probably you may go and insert a line from the insert tab where you may have an arrow. You draw that arrow yourself and then you put it there. Or there should be a third way. That one too, I think it is either the draw arrow or something like that. So find out how to get that line drawn. Frida, how are you going to draw your line? Apart from what I've discussed.
Well, I normally
Insert, right?
insert.
You can pick
Yeah.
that straight line from the insert tab.
Sure.
Yes, you can pick it from the insert tab. Or like I showed you, those days, I used to use the negative sign. I press it continuously till I get to the end. Then you see that when you continue, it goes the next line down. Then I go and erase it and make sure it gets to the end and then press the enter key. Sometimes you may not wait till even you get to the end. When you press the minus sign about 3 or 4 times continuously and just press enter, it gives you a straight line. I don't know for that version, but I remember those days that was how I used to draw the line. And then the insert tool was giving me another option. All right, so when you are writing, you have to take your ruler to the exams or document processing. Madam, document processors too. Are you going to use rulers? Yes, go. If you don't take a ruler and you have an extra pen, you find a way of drawing your line to differentiate the two. It's a format, it's a style of writing. So let's see the line because it is giving us the identification aspect and what? The body or the message parts. You realize that the message part went straight to the point, right? The Human Resource Division has announced improvements in the employee benefit plan. A meeting to explain our new benefits will be held on this date, time, venue. And what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to read and enclose booklet. That is what the action for future plan. You have to read before coming for the meeting. Let us know if you have any questions about it. You are supposed to come with what? Jackets, because the AC is going to be put at 16. If you don't, that one is my own action plan, but it's not necessary anyway. So, Frida, continue laughing. That's it. So let's look at the indented memo. Indented, you realize that, I should have asked you, what else do you see from the block style? The subject memo. I mean, we had the identification part and the message part, right? So the message part, the paragraphs, what can you say about it? Frida, what do you want about? Tell us.
Madam. Oh, please, the question again.
Ayeka.
Madam, madam, please let me try.
Yes.
Madam, the paragraph, if you want to leave a paragraph, you leave you leave a double space line.
Okay.
Then you have your paragraph.
Good. So you realize that because it's a blocked format, the paragraphs are not indented. They are also blocked. And then the identification parts are all aligned to the left. That is what I want you to take notes. So please don't mess them up. You are asked to prepare a memo and you have gone by the blocked format. And your identification part is blocked. And then the message part is indented. What are you doing? This one is not semi-block. We don't have semi-block for memos. Memos is either strictly block or is what? Indented. Do you get it? So look at this example for the indented memo. The title is centered. Have you seen the title for the block? Everything is aligned to the left for the block style. Indented style, title is centered. And then it moves left, right, left, right, left, right, like the matching. So please, when you are typing and you want to go by the indented style, remember match pass. Left, right, left, right, left, right. Then you go. If you forget this matching song, you would miss them. So to and from, reference date, and then the subject. That is the identification part. What about the body? The body is what? Indented. The paragraphs are indented. And you can clearly see that they are indented. Someone may ask, it looks like it was just the font size that is bigger. Yes, but they are all supposed, if you are typing letters, memos, they are way of communicating in the organization. And they are most business communications like these things, letters, memos are typed in single line spacing. Unlike a project or a proposal or something that you may want to type in double line spacing. So they are single line for both. The only thing was I only made the font size bigger because I wanted it to be clear. And this is PowerPoint. PowerPoint doesn't matter the font size you use, because assuming you are projecting, it should be big enough for all others to see. But for Word documents, please, your font size should be 12. And your font should be what? Times New Romans. Okay. So this is what we've done so far today. Any question? And this is going to be part of your assignment. So you already
Hi.
have, oh, yes, you already have 3 letters for me, right? You already have 3 letters for me, and you are going to add a memo and an itinerary, which I'm going to give you like 10 minutes break. Then we come back and do the itinerary. Any question?
Yes, please, madam. Please, I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah, my question is that maybe right after the last sentence, can we introduce thank you or anything? Because there's been instances where we see them closing with thank you. Is it allowed?
Oh, yes, it's allowed. It's
All
allowed.
right.
What I emphasized was the complimentary close. Usually, when we say the complimentary close, you are looking at yours faithfully, yours sincerely, yours, and all those things. And then the person will have to sign, and then probably the person's position, contact details, like the way we put our letters. Those parts, yours faithfully down to signature and all those things. Here we don't sign. You get it? But thank you is part of the message. It's part of the body of the message. So you can end your message by saying thank you. It is not part of the complimentary close. Let's take
All,
notes.
all right, please. Thank you.
Yes, any other question? Have I sent the memo already? I will send it and then I'll add the itinerary today. So we have discussed extensively on the part of memo, and you are asked to what? Prepare a memo using the example studied. This is the question. You are the head of marketing department. This has been done, and your marketing force is short of staff. So you are required to type what? An internal memo. In fact, there should not have been the internal because memo is internal. To type a memo, let me correct it now. You're asked to type a memo. There is no external memo. Okay. Okay, so we are going for the 10 minutes break. We will come back 5:13 for itinerary. Just to stretch small, relax more, and contemplate on what the memo we have studied, because you are coming back for a different topic. Itinerary should take us 5 to 6 at least. We should end. We started for 4 to 7, but itinerary, I can't use 2 hours to teach the itinerary. At least at most 1.5 hours. So today we will finish early, like 6:30. Okay, so please, 10-minute break, no 20 minutes, just to stretch and then relax more and come back, have a refreshed mind, and then let's do the itinerary. Then we end today's lecture. Understood? If you still have questions, you can bring it out. When we come back, we are not going back to memo. Hey, okay, all right. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Hey, where are they? Okay, 13 participants. Okay, so we can move on. So we are moving on to itinerary and tabulation. Itinerary. We've been using this word for a very long time, right? Can someone tell us what it means, or if we have used it before, whether our personal itinerary or a business form of itinerary? I want to hear from you. Anyone to tell us what an itinerary is?
Hello, madam.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think an itinerary looks at the list of activities in order of preference one seeks to undertake within a specific period of time. It could be an itinerary for a day, a week, or a year. Yeah, thank you.
So at least we have seen an item of activities to be taken, right? All right.
Yes.
At the end of the presentation, you would want to look at the meaning of itinerary, the types and parts, how to create the perfect travel itinerary. In fact, today's lesson is not just focusing on your own personal activities that you want to undertake, as you said, but we want to concentrate on the travel itinerary. And then in preparing this travel itinerary, usually in business related, like going for a meeting, going for a conference, you're going to spend some days, you need to prepare a travel itinerary for probably your boss or even yourself. And then tables, of course. We want to present it in a table form, and then we take off the grid line so that it will look very presentable and easy to read. That is why we also add the feature of what creating a table and navigating through tables and all that. But our focus today more will be on the itinerary, and quickly I'll run you through how to create tables so that you can create your tables and then put the itineraries in a table. But we don't want to see the grid lines. You don't want to see that it is actually in a table form, but we want it to be spaced, so presentable, as if you had deliberately pressed the space bar to give it that shape. It's taking the form of a shape of a table, but we don't want to see the grid lines, the lines in a table. We will take them off so that it will be neatly presented. Okay, so as I said, we are looking at the travel itinerary. And as the name suggests, a wedding travel or tour arrangement document made in advance of the travel. What does it mean? It means that you don't just get up unprepared and go to places spontaneously. You do that based on plan. And in planning, just as it is said, without planning, failure to plan, you plan to fail, right? So in your planning, where are you going? How many days are you spending? In fact, we ladies are very good at that. We would pack, okay, we are spending 7 days. Then you pack 7 items. Okay, what about emergencies? What about should in case? Then the should in case items alone are even more than the original the original things you want to achieve, you want to plan. So that is just by the way, but our focus is on what the activities that are going to take place. So because of the activities you intend to undertake, what are the things that you must do? Why? Because you want to ensure that the most important things are achieved. We have examples or cases like somebody planning to go to Mali for a particular project, and that project will be held, let's say, on a weekend, and then the person left earlier to have the first 3 days on what? Probably surveying the area before the weekend for the actual program, and right after the program, the person comes back. Can you imagine the person went there and even the weekend came and the person forgot that it was the weekend, the reason why he traveled to Mali or the reason why she traveled to this occasion, and was only focusing on what? Those side attractions and, oh, let me chill, let me chill, let me chill. And then the purpose for traveling, the conference itself that made there to travel all the way and to go back to give a report was forgotten. Why? Because if the person had had an itinerary, a well programmed, a well documented what list of activities to be done, knowing the date and time, the person wouldn't have even forgotten the main reason why you went there. Do you get it? So travel itinerary is in fact very, very important. And as every business person, everyone who wants to undertake a trip, you need to plan. And so I'll move on to why must we even prepare the itinerary, the purpose of an itinerary. Why do you think we have to prepare it? What are some of the benefits that we can also derive from preparing that itinerary? You can mention a few of them, then we move on. Unmute yourself and respond. Let's look at the purpose of preparing an itinerary.
Hello, madam.
Mm-hmm.
Please, it helps one to focus on his or her plans.
Okay. Who else? You want to focus on your plans, what you want to achieve at the end of the tour. Before I think I skipped the last slide, with the last bullet, which is saying that the itinerary shows when the journey starts, when to stop, when to dine, when to sleep, and in fact, all the activities that are supposed to be taken. So we would get to the actual preparation of the itinerary, and you see where all of these things takes place. You get it? So that at every point in time, you will be able to ensure that those activities are well planned and then you have undertaken them. You don't waste your whole time on a particular itinerary. After this, I'll tell you one of the trips I went that, in fact, it was because of this itinerary. I'll tell you that story and then you see how relevant it is to have a good itinerary and to go by it. So just like okay, who else is going to give me the next purpose so that I share my little experience with you?
Okay, madam. Please, I think it helps in proper time management. Proper time management. It
Time
helps in
management.
proper time. Yes.
Yes, and that was where I was going to settle my experience on. That is my focus, what I want to tell you on the time management aspect of it. So on that purpose for time management, my little experience was, what was it? Somewhere 20 was level 200 or so, or 300. So somewhere 2014-15 there. I remember we went from UCC, of course, my alma mater. So church program, we went to Nzulezo. You see, Cape Coast going to Nzema. You were so happy. We were supposed to go to 3 places on a particular day because it was a return trip. Then we had to pass by Nzulezo, go to
Madam, please, it is in Zulezo.
Nzulezo. Okay, Nzulezo. Okay, thank you. And then Takrade, that's what is the name? Nsuono, your friend is saying. That was the
Madam, is
last.
the one at Apollo.
No, I mean the one that chips. Yeah, fast shape also no.
Shama.
Not
Shama. Okay.
oh. The one that this military people when we were late for just 5-10 minutes. Oh, they did not allow us to go. They said they are very time conscious, and when it is 5 p.m., nobody's allowed to enter. Then we pleaded with them. Oh, we are coming all the way from Cape Coast, and in fact, traffic and other things. It was our own fault. We set off early though, but we spent the whole time on a particular place. We were supposed to visit 3 places. We first went to a place. I think Inzulezu was the second place, and then the third place to visit was Edinburgh Crana. Oh, maybe I'm ship no. For what saying?
Harbor.
Is it the harbor? Yes, the harbor. Yeah, that was the harbor. They did not allow us. There were is it harbor? Those people, or is the harbor? You see this form of immigration,
Like the naval base.
naval base. Yes, I'm talking about the naval base. Those people, hey, these high authority people, don't joke with their time. Oh, we pleaded with them because students, Charlie. It was for the naval base. That was the last place we were supposed to visit before we come back to Cape Coast. And we had spent the whole time taking pictures on the Nzulezu. It was a Nzulezu. And then the other second place, I've even forgotten. But I want to draw your attention to the fact that itinerary takes into consideration the time spent on what? Every activity. Where to stop, where to take breaks, where to take lunch. When it was time for us to take lunch, if our time was 30 minutes, we spent more than 2 hours. We were fed, and then instead of us to leave, we were reluctant to leave. Oh, please, let's go. The car, let's take more pictures. Let's do this, let's do that. At the end of the day, our last place, it pained me rough because I wanted to go to the naval base. And then I had the opportunity, and we have paid for it. So we traveled all the way there. It was like seeing Canaan, but not setting your foot there. We just got to the entrance and then we returned. We were not even allowed to step our foot inside. They said the time it was past 5. And it was then when I checked, it was like 5:10 or 5:50. It was not even like 30, Ghanaian, when you say you are late, then you are 30 minutes late. But 5 or 10 minutes late is no big deal. But these people were so that was the time I realized that, Charlie, in fact, time management is very keen, especially when it comes to itinerary. When you are traveling to places, don't say that as for Ghanaians, Ghana man time, anytime you go there. Last time I traveled with my auntie, Kako Mural, the canopy walk. We had the same issue. She was even coming from Volta. And because I'm here in Cape Coast, I joined her and then we went there. Yeah, card there. Or say that be time now. The only thing we had it through was the husband is one of these big policemen, says CID, say wine, so connections. Then he called them. Then quickly they said they should give him a special tour guide, even though they had closed. So this canopy walk was not for like the general canopy walk that you see other people, because they had closed and nobody was allowed to enter. We went alone with our tour guide just to walk on the canopy and come back. So that was because of that protocol. Other than that, we would have also gotten back. So what am I saying? Itinerary, like the purpose, as you are explaining, it takes into consideration the time spent on every activity, time to take rest, time to eat, time to do this, time to do that. A lot of things goes into the preparation of an itinerary. So maximizing your time, working within your budget, as I said, Those who were supposed to go to Mali for a conference and said, let's go earlier and then relax small till weekend, then we can go for our conference, because right after the conference, the next day we are coming back. So let's go earlier. They spend their whole money, their whole budget on chilling. Then the actual date for the conference, they were supposed to do some project that involved money, and they had already spent the money. So what can you do? You have wasted money because you did not prepare your itinerary. If you had prepared it so well, you would have brought the most preference things first and knew how you would budget, even if you want to do the less preference ones first, because of the way you have portioned your timing. You would have worked within your budget. Then helps you to move from destination to another easily, helps you to prioritize your wants, as you said, and ensures that trip necessities are not forgotten. Some of our ladies are very good at it, but our men, they will travel and they will not take their towel, they will not take their sponge, and then they will be looking for where to buy sponge at 12 p.m. when they have arrived at 12 a.m. Which store will open at 12 a.m. for you to get a sponge and towel to take your shower? Okay. So trip necessities are not forgotten. If you prepare your itinerary so well, you realize that the things you need, you are going to a different country, you know that the region, the weather is very cold. Take your jacket, all of these things. I mean, a lot of things goes into planning your itinerary. Those are the basic things. They are actually not on paper, but I'm just saying this so that you see the practicality of it, okay? So in planning your itinerary, what are the things you can do? Yes, this one you should be more engaging and talk. Let's hear from you. What goes into preparation of an itinerary? Hello? You are not responding because you have not taken supper. So respond so that I can free you to go and take your supper or your dinner. Samilia. Solomon. Solo, are you there?
Okay, madam, I think that in planning your itinerary, you would have to make some key considerations like your date, your time, and then the activities. You look at how best to schedule them.
Okay. So calculate well when and how your movements will be to ensure greater accuracy of the schedule. In considering your time, dates, and purpose of your activity or purpose what you intend doing, you need to calculate it well. Why? Because it will help you be more accurate, even though we give rooms for what lapses. So in preparing your itinerary, when it comes to the time aspect, I don't expect you to write 7 o'clock to 7:30 breakfast, 7:30 to maybe 10 o'clock meeting or conference. No, I want you to, because breakfast, Ubeka says 7 o'clock to 7:30. It will shock you that 7:30 breakfast will not even be ready. Do you get it? And then would eat into your meeting time. So if you are preparing an itinerary, you have to make room for what all of these lapses, even though you are trying to work within time. So at least for every activity, give 10 or 15 minutes lapse a time for lapses. For example, you can say 7 o'clock to 7:30 breakfast. Then instead of saying 7:30 to 10 o'clock, you say maybe 7:45 or 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock meeting. Even though you know the meeting should end by 10 o'clock, you don't start the next activity at 10 o'clock. You start somewhere 8:20, 10:20 or 10:30, then 10:30 to another activity. Then that will be the next activity. Why? To create rooms for some of these lapses that I'm talking about. And that is a very good itinerary, or emergencies or anything like that. And you need to create time for rest, time for games, time for maybe dining and eating, stopping. I mean, all of these things should also be factored. You need to identify the number of days you spend on a travel. Of course, important. How many days? Is a 7-day travel tour? So how many nights will be spent? Are you coming back on the 7th day, or you are coming back on the 8th day? You need to take notice of all of these things. Then also include the names, the addresses, phone and fax numbers of the hotels or private homes, as well as the time difference from the different locations. Very important. You don't just include these names of the phone addresses, but also in practicality wise, you are supposed to give the names and addresses to somebody at home. If possible, give your itinerary itself to someone at home, so that they can be monitoring you. Because if you say, and they'll better say, oh, I'm going to this hotel, then you go and then you'll be kidnapped, you'll be robbed, something bad will happen to you. So give that itinerary to someone at home to keep track of where you are at a point in time. It will even save you a lot. For example, your wife will call you at 10 o'clock a.m. just to check up on you, and you'll be offended. Why? Because you didn't tell her that you at 10 o'clock you'll be at a meeting. She knows that, of course, you are going for this conference, but she does not even know when the meeting will start. So by 10, she thought you will be in your hotel room relaxing. And unfortunately, because she doesn't have a copy of your itinerary, she will call you and interrupt your meeting, and you'll be offended. So give a copy of your itinerary to anyone at home to keep track, to help you to know when to communicate with you, when not to communicate, to keep track. If the person is not staying in touch for a while, the person can call and find out whether you are safe or something bad has happened to you. All of these things are important. So, and it's also said that take note of the locations. For example, US are leading Ghana 5 hours. So you know that 5 o'clock here is we are leading them 5 hours. So 5 o'clock here will be what time there? 10 or 10:52. 10:52 a.m. Sorry, I mean 12:52 a.m. Right. 12:50 now 12:53 a.m. So it's 12:53 a.m. at the US. Here in Ghana is 5:53. So if you know this time differences, you know when to call, when to keep track and all that. Pay attention to also potential delays at the airports and the check-in and all of those things. Some people, they plan all right, but they are not realistic. On the map, Cape Coast to Accra, how many hours? Is it not 2 hours? But in reality, how many hours can you spend? You can even spend more than 4 hours on a busy day like a festive season, Christmas. That day that school went on vacation. Come and see traffic. Do you get it? So you have to take note of all of these potential delays and keep track of them all. So in your preparing of itinerary, if you have a meeting 6 p.m., don't say you leave Cape Coast at 4 p.m. because ideally 2 hours is the journey from Cape Coast to Accra. If you have a meeting which you can't miss at 6 p.m., you better leave Cape Coast 11 a.m. just to take care of what? all of these potential delays and other things, and resist the impulse to plan, over plan. What is over planning? Entry Kobina, what is over planning? Resisting the impulse to over plan. What does it mean? You people don't want to talk here. So all those that I called out today who refused to talk, -5 each. So take note that your examination yours is 95. Yours is no longer 100%. 5 marks has already been taken. So if you are expecting an A and you are aiming at 80, make sure you aim at 85 so that when your 5 marks is taken, you can still get you 80. Other than that, when you aim at 80, your 5 marks is taken, you get to B plus 75. Okay. So overly plan, sometimes you want to overdo things. One day, you are putting about 8 different locations at the Wombre. Do you get it? You cannot go to all these 8 different locations, especially if it is far from each other. You would be tired. You can't put all of those activities on in just one day. So you have to split them. Maybe if it is necessary that you go to all these 8 places, you can split them in 3 days. Other than that, take out the most important places that you have to attend and go. And then what activity you want to perform, you just go by it, and then forget about the other places you wish you could have gone. But if there is no time, don't force it. That is what it means. Meanwhile, to be flexible, as I said, taking into consideration the time and other things. Now, I've already said you should give a copy to someone at home to help you know whatever is going on. These are the types of itinerary according to the various groups. For example, based on the tour type, what type of tour are you going? Is it your private tour? Is it the group tour? The one we went in school was we call it excursion, university students. So it's a group tour. Is it a special interest tour? Special interest like honeymoon, those honeymoon packages. My ladies, are you there?
Yes, madam, you are here.
Okay. And with them when you remember all those special interest tour you went. Then you have the domestic tour, the inbound and then the outbound itinerary. All of these things are types of itineraries based on the tour type. So the tour type, inbound means what? It is you're going for a tour inside your country, so inside Ghana, locally, right? Locally. So for example, I was from Cape Coast going towards the naval base, going to Inzulezu, and then the outbound. Maybe you've had the opportunity to go to Dubai, outside your country, outside Ghana. That is the outbound itinerary. Domestic too is locally. The special interest, like the honeymoon package, that is the type. Your group itinerary, the excursions that you've been going, your church have been going, your school, not people. Do you go for excursions at all? Not grant to
Yes,
senat for.
yes, just
Are you?
recently,
Then the
December
private
5th.
tour. Some of us we like to chill singular. I mean, how should I call it? To chill alone. So myself, I'll carry my whole self, go to the beach side. We call it Nkoso. If you're on UCC campus, you usually do that. You go alone. That is your private tour itinerary. You are going alone. And it can also be your family. So it's private, yeah. And then these are the types, right? Okay, you went alone. You went with your family. That's too much. So based on the purpose, you can name it the business trip itinerary, as the name suggests, for business trips, right? So you may have such activities like meetings. You may have to put this information on the meetings. What type of meeting? Where are you having the meeting? Location and other things. Contact numbers, task, what is being done, the hotel details, some leisure activities that may be organized. I mean, it's a business trip. And those our gentlemen who have been going on business trips should tell us their experiences. Then the leisure trip itinerary for persons who are traveling for a normal holidays like this Christmas. I know most of you took your whole family to Dubai and to other places to just chill, right? Okay. But you are back from the Christmas, so no chilling. Part of itinerary. These are the three basic parts of itinerary. Please take notes. The time and duration, the destination, and the activities. We usually put them in three columns. The first column takes the time and then the duration. The second column takes the destination, and the last column usually takes all the activities to be organized for that day. So the time and duration, you start with what? The time of departure and then the time of arrival. Every itinerary should start this way. Don't start your itinerary by saying time and duration, 6 o'clock a.m. meeting. Hey, Chester, what there? Oh, sorry, meeting. When did you start your journey? You see, you depart. There should be what? The departure time and an arrival time. And that is a very good itinerary. Let's see all of these things before, maybe probably in the course of the day, or if you arrived late, probably you arrived in the evening supper, and then there is a brief meeting. Fine. Tomorrow, that is when the meeting will actually take place, a welcome meeting or whatsoever. Then the destination, the place or location should be seen. And then the activities, what you did in that during that period should also be noted. So look at the steps in creating an itinerary. Begin with a short title at the top of the page. And that short title is very, very, very important. For example, don't just write itinerary like a memorandum. You just put on top memorandum. No. Your short title will be what? If it's a travel itinerary, what kind of travel itinerary? You may mention your name. Frida, what is your name? Frida what? You can just say Akwete Frida's.
Hey.
So Akwete Frida's 20 days there were at the 5-day tour to Dubai. And now best of Dubai. So your title is important. The title should take note of the person who is traveling, where the person is going to, and what the purpose, more like a purpose, all coined in the title. I'll give you an example. So the title should be there. Oh, okay. So begin the itinerary with a short title at the top of the page. Then underneath the title, that is where you're going to create the three columns. That starts with what? Underneath this title, place the date of the trip and organize each day by the start time. So underneath of the three columns, I already said it starts with what? The time and duration, the destination, and then the activities. These are the three columns. And for time and duration, you begin with what? The dates, time, and duration. So the day and the date comes, then the time comes, and then the duration. I'll show you a sample, then you would understand what I'm saying. Organize each day by the start time. So always don't prepare an itinerary without time. It is very bad. Let's know the time for each activity. And as I said earlier, ensure that there are some what it should not be, there shouldn't be any lapses. I mean, there should be room for flexibility. For example, 7 to 7:30. Don't start from 7:30 to 8 o'clock. No, give room like 10 minutes or 15 minutes just to cater for delays or anything unforeseen thing that may happen. Align all your events and space them out equally for an easy to view travel itinerary. Itinerary should be look more like bulletin. You know, when you're bulletin, you don't write full sentences, paragraphs, essays. It's not an essay. It is just activity, date, time, activity. What are you doing? You see, so align them evenly, space them for easy to read. You have to proofread to avoid any mistakes or all forms of lapses. You have to avoid all of these things and confirm travel plans with the original plan. For example, you are traveling a day to your travel, you would get to the place and you realize that your ticket or whatsoever has been postponed, or I mean they have rescheduled it or it came earlier. You were told that the plane will take off at 10, but later on they changed it to what, 7 a.m. Then you went there at 9:30 thinking, oh, I'm 30 minutes earlier. Plane wait, you get it. So always confirm travel plans, especially when you are traveling outside. Check out if everything is on point. Point out itinerary and all reservation confirmations. In terms of reservations, a lot of people get disappointed. Why? Because they just told them, okay, reservations here, 1, 2, good. But a day to time, you need to call to confirm whether they had actually been reserved for you or they have given it to someone who is having some dollars to spend on uh on these reservations. So give me 5 minutes, okay? Let me attend to something quickly and then resume. Or for while I'm giving you that 5 minutes, I don't want anybody to leave. I'm going to open the model for you, the itinerary model, and put it on the page so that you read through and then with that 5 minutes break, then I feel cautious. See. It will be an free mama. Ah, some. Hello. Are you there?
Yes, please, we are here.
Okay. I'm sharing a different material. So this is the example I want you to look at. Type the following itinerary on A4. Okay. This is an exercise drill that on a usual day you would have typed for me. So the question would look something like this. If you are going to get an itinerary question in exams, it will look like this. You intend to travel to Kumasi for a tour. Oh, so I don't know. Okay, just look at this example and then autumn sales promotion tour. Look at the day, the dates, the time, and the activities. You realize that they have been positioned in 3 columns, right? And they're actually in tables, but they grilled the lines or the tables, the lines have been removed. I'll show you how to create these tables so that you don't waste you can as well prepare it using the tab key. So after each of them, you may press the tab key once or twice, depending on the spaces you want. But sometimes there are some inconsistencies using the tab key. So it's best to put them in tables, and after everything, you just remove the borders. And then you have a virtual table. This is, I call it virtual table because you cannot see the borders, you cannot see the grid lines or the lines between them, but they're actually in tables. Okay, so you begin with what? The day, the dates, the time, and then the activities. Look at how it is presented. Are you seeing my screen? Is it showing?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Sure. That is the practice exercise. So we have the day, the dates, the time, and then the activities. So the day comes first before the date. So for example, you start the day. The day is what? Sunday, 7th January, 2024. Hey, yeah, what 2026? Hey, makes dear. 2026. People are moving forward, they are moving backwards. So today is 7th January, right? 7th January. Today is what? Wednesday. Hey, boy, yeah. Wednesday, 7th January 2026. The time. The time is, let's say I'm going for a night bus. So I'm setting off 7 p.m. today. And 7 p.m. depart Accra. So I'm departing at this time to get to wherever I'm going. Arrive at what time? The expected time you want to arrive. That's why I've told you, don't go straightly by the map because reality is different from map. So if the map is saying 2 hours from Cape Coast to Accra, in your itinerary preparation, make it 3 hours to make it flexible such that in case of delays, traffic, and other things, it can cater for all of these things. So arrive, give us an ideal time that one may arrive. In fact, we don't just mark the content, but at least let it be realistic. Let it be feasible. Do you get it? Even though it's for academic purpose, you'd want to create something, but let it be feasible. You can't say you traveled from here to wherever you are going and you went by trekking and you are walking for you definitely go by a bus, a car, or a vehicle, or by flight. So you should also see that in your activity. So arrive Koforidua, you can say arrive Koforidua by bus. You went by a bus, you went by a particular form of transportation. Let's see that too. Then probably when you got there, Zongo, so you had what? Lunch, you had supper, you had this. Then you what? Slept overnight. The following day, what happened? Morning, there was breakfast at a particular restaurant. Let's see it. So maybe morning was what? Tuesday. Okay, today is Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thursday. So Thursday, 8th January 2026. Time 8 a.m. breakfast. So let the day begin from what? Morning to evening. If you arrived in the evening, of course, you start by evening, then morning, and it continues. Don't start maybe Tuesday, let's say Thursday. You start in the evening. There's going to be a conference in the evening because I said the most important things first. So in the evening, there's a conference. Then you go afternoon, there was what? Sports activities. Then in the morning, breakfast. No, it doesn't work like that. It should go according to the time and the days as and when things were going. So in the morning, for instance, today, assuming I took an arrival Thursday, 8 o'clock a.m. When I arrived, 9 o'clock, I had my breakfast at a particular restaurant, which we had already done the reservation, the booking, and all those things. Then afternoon, there is lunch, there's a conference, there's a meeting, we went on another tour, we did this, we did that. All of those activities should be what? Consistent. Looking at the time frame, there shouldn't be any lapses here and there. Do you get it? So this is just an example. So you can see that someone may ask, you can see the time, 18 hours, 19 hours, 20 hours, and all that. What does that mean? You realize that this one is another form of what? Communicating the time. You can as well use your normal GMT clock. Are you there? Mute yourself, please. You can as well use your GMT clock to explain the timing for us instead of doing hours. Okay. So when so you have what? Wednesday, mute yourself. Hello. So I'm giving you a 5-minute break, okay? Then, in fact, this should be your assignment. Let me see. Have I posted this at the end of your slide? This question should be at the end of your slide as your assignment. Go through it and see how you are going towards prepare the itinerary. I think we are ending it right now, then I can attend to other things. I wanted to quickly take you through the tabulation. Other than that, you give me like 5 to 10 minutes, and then we come and do how you put them in tables. Just teach you quickly, and then we end the class. So what do you want? What do you want me to do now? Hello?
Yes, madam.
You are hungry. You want us to end?
Yes,
Yeah,
madam.
I'm just showing. If you give me 10 minutes, I'll just come back and show you these tables, how to create these tables using the insert tab. You see this, and after that, you just take away the borders. That is what will give you those 3 columns when you are creating the itinerary. Hey. So for now, look at the self-assessment test. This question is even more, it's going to give you clues. It's going to give you clue to how to prepare the itinerary, but you can have a simple question like prepare a 7-day tour itinerary for Mr. Jefferson. Include accommodation and transportation without them giving you the places that you have to go. So you have to create. Go back to your narrative essays where we used to tell stories to play at places we have been that in fact in reality we have not even set our foot there. So you create them, imaginations, but it should be real. Don't come and go and say that you said you went to US and then you are going to a town which is in London. That one is not, it doesn't wait there and try obvious, but let it be real, feasible. Do you get it? So if the question is in this fold like this one is even going to give you clues. For example, he started the 7-day tour from Accra. He visited Kwame Nkrumah Museum, National Theatre, and all those things. So it gives you ideas and it makes your work simple. But this time I'll not give you simple question like this. I'll just give you a straightforward question, 7-day tour itinerary. So you have to create something. That is where you have to have ideas. Do you get it? You have to create your own ideas. Okay, 7-day tour. At least in your mind, every day you have a place to go. You have a meeting to attend. You eat, you sleep, lunch, supper. You have various activities, sports, games, and other things, leisure, and all of those things should be included in your itinerary. Do you understand? So we are ending the class. But for now, I want you to go and try your hands on the self-assessment test. Okay, just try your hands on them. And yes, in fact, I would add the memorandum. I gave you question on memo, right? Memo has a question that you do. So because I don't want to overburden you with the assignment, add the memo to your 3 letters so that you have 4 questions, which I can at least score and then give an average of 20. Yes, each of them will. So I'll scale it down to 20.
Okay.
I mean, 4 questions. Assessment is 40 marks, right? Your assessment should be 40. Yes. So add the memo to the 3 letters. In fact, I should have the 3 letters. If you have been able to do 2, so that it will have a fair, it will go through, so that 2 letters, 1 memo, 1 itinerary, so that you have your 40 marks for your assessment. I think that was the best, rather than having 3 letters for 30. No, that is bad. So try and at least the letters I gave you, give me 2, which I can mark. If you give me all the 3, that's fine. I'll just mark the best 2 and then add the memo and the itinerary, 10 cents each, so that you have your 40 marks for your assessment. I'm sure you write quiz too, or
All the letters be in one document or separate.
what I want to do is you put everything on one document. If
Okay,
possible, if you have already done the letters, when you are doing the memo, make it probably question 4 or 5. I don't know how you do it, so that I can mark all at once. And then but no, wait, so you are going to write a quiz, isn't it?
Yes, please. Quiz 1 and quiz 2.
Okay, then assignment is just 20 marks. And I remember say. Okay, so what do you want to do? You tell me, because Mark and cry I don't have time.
Please, we will try our best on it.
What
so that
I want you guys to do is, since I have taught letters, I have taught memos, I have taught itinerary, all of them you are going to be assessed on them. So for your own lesson or for your own practice, try and solve at least a question on each of them. That is why after every slide, I give you some practice tests, something that you can try your hands on, so that if you don't see them in objectives in your quizzes, in your end of semester examination, you would have a full essay to write. For example, you may write an itinerary, you may prepare a memo, you may prepare any of the 8 kinds of letters that I explained to you. You may write on any 1 or 2. Do you get it? So to be at the safer side, try your hands on all that we have studied. But to have a document for your assignments, for your quizzes, of course, that is 20 marks or so. Or they said quiz 1 and quiz 2.
Yes, please. 40 marks.
Quiz 1 and quiz 2, 40 marks. So this time around, we don't give assignment, we don't put marks there, assignment for assessment or what. Anyway, just give me 2 of them, either a letter or a memo. Let me put it there so that when they request for assessment, be it an assignment, then I have something to show. Do you get it? So while you do that for me, make sure that you go ahead and practice all the tests, especially the ones after every slide. Try your hands on all of them. It may even happen that you just pick any of them and then put it there end of semester. But if you don't try your hands on them, how will you be able to what? Produce it when you are being asked? Is that okay? Or you are confused? Are you so confused? Are you so confused? Okay, let's leave it here. I think we would meet for an extra 2 hours probably on Friday, and that will be the end of our time, right? We will address we will address all of these concerns, okay?
Okay, madam.
Okay. Good evening. Have a wonderful evening. Try your hands on them. Try your hands on them. In case we are asked to give assignments, something to add up to your quizzes, then at least I have some 20 marks there. I know I can provide evidence that you have done these assignments. So just do it as I told you. All the assignments I said you should do it. Put it on your folder. When the need arises that I request, give me memo, give me letter, the one on inquiry, the one on this, the one on that. You just take it from your folder and just submit it. That's all. No stress. But if you want to wait till I say do all of these things in one day, pressure will be mounted on you. So just do it as the week goes by. Today we have studied memorandum and itinerary. Try your hands on the memorandum question and the itinerary. Okay, and just put it in your folder. As I ask you to create it on your folder, your laptops, put the assignment there. Anytime I request of it, I will just ask you, then you provide it. If it happens that they are only going to take your first quiz 1, quiz 2 alone without your assignments, then